Bearings. Bearings are navigational directions, and they are an angle, generally an angle away from north, but there's a few different ways to look at this. They are extremely useful for navigation and will solve a lot of problems using them. So bearings, angle of direction. So any bearing effectively needs two lines because an angle needs two lines, a direction that you're going relative to, and a line pointing away from that. Of course, the exception is when we're giving compass bearings, our standard compass bearings, particular directions are just given names, like north. A compass rose, at its simplest, is these little diagrams you see me drawing here. It's a cross with at least north indicated with an arrow, and they're found on maps to indicate where north is, but also every time we do any problem where someone starts somewhere and they travel off in a direction, we must put a compass rose where they start every single time. Often we'll put a couple of compass roses in a question. When they change direction we may need to, but little simple compass roses. And since I happen to have a map on the background of my computer, very quickly, there is a very simple compass rose on a map showing north and 4 points. I just felt like showing you that. So, types of compass bearings. You can have the 16 standard compass bearings. We have the cardinal points, north, east, south, west, and of course there's 90 degrees between each of those and 180 degrees between the opposite ones. Halfway between each of them. So at 45 degrees between them we have northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. And you'll notice that north and south come first, and whether we're east or west happens second. And then in between those, halfway, so at 22.5 degrees, sorry, I had to stop there for a moment. At 22.5 degrees we have northwest, and all the measurements in between. We don't usually have to worry about these quite so much, but we'll pop them in anyway. You'll notice my compass rose gets kind of messy if I do that. So north, northeast, east, northeast, east, southeast, south, southeast, all the way around. So each of those has, of course, their own little single named direction, but you'll notice they're based on northeast, south, and west. Now our other compass bearings. These get given various different names, but the textbook at the moment calls them other compass bearings, so we'll do that. These are given as to whether they are north or south first, and then from there we have the angle towards east, east or west. So for example, if I had just northeast, which we know is 45 degrees away from north, I'd ask myself two questions. Firstly, is it going north or south? So my northeast is obviously going north. Then I would ask, from north, is it going east or west? It's going east. You notice I leave a gap. And what is the angle that it's going towards east at? Well, in this case it's 45 degrees. So northeast can also be written north 45 degrees east. So if we look at another one, a bearing here where I've got an angle of 5 degrees. Two questions, north or south? South. Leave a blank. Then east or west? It's going west, and from south towards west, 5 degrees. So those are called other compass bearings, or just compass bearings as opposed to standard compass bearings. And true bearings, the last one of the lot, possibly the easiest of all. They are also known as three-figure bearings, and they're just an angle clockwise from north. So if we had northeast again, that is 045 degrees true. They're always given as 3 digits, hence three-figure bearings, and with a T afterwards for true. And so if we had that same angle here, which was 5 degrees in there, which was south 5 degrees west, if I wanted to give that as a three-figure bearing, I'd know that was 180 all the way round, from north to south. When that appears on my screen, there you go, plus 5 degrees to keep going. This would be 185 degrees true. On the other hand, if I had a bearing that was an angle of 20 degrees to the west of north, I'd know that that was 360 degrees all the way round, minus 20, 340 degrees true. So we have 3 different types of bearings we might use. The types of questions they might give you: for example, draw a diagram to represent each direction. Write it either as a different type of compass bearing or as a true bearing. Excuse me, I think my page is going to jump a little. There we go. So, very quickly, south 17 degrees east. Draw a diagram. Draw a compass rose. I'm going south first, then towards east, and it's 17 degrees towards east. A diagram is very helpful to help you convert between bearings. Now that's already another compass bearing, so we want a true bearing, which means I want the angle clockwise from north, and that angle is obviously going to be 180 minus 17, so 180 minus 17, 163 degrees T. So we can convert between different types of bearings. Our other question, 252 degrees T. It's a good idea to make sure you know the angle of all the cardinal points. So of course east here is 90 degrees all the way round to 270 for west. So we know we're not quite up to west, so we're going to be out this way. We often put 252 degrees T just there when it appears. And I want to convert that to another compass bearing. So my questions are, of course, hang on a second, I've got south in the wrong spot. North or south? We're going south. Are we going east or west? West. And what's this angle here? That's 252. It's 180 from north to south. And so we count our way along, or just subtract if we prefer. Oh, sorry, calculator went somewhere. Just in case we did want the calculator. Oh, never mind, let's just do the maths. 252 minus 180. There we go, we've got 72 degrees. I should have just done that in my head. 72. So you can always convert between bearings and draw bearings.